Before I begin talking about the vice presidential debate, I need to talk about the hurricane and the remnants from it. My prayers go out to the survivors, to their families who have lost loved ones. Hopefully their lives can be rebuilt. I know they will be rebuilt. Because that's the spirit of America. They will get through this. They can. Now, the vice presidential debate last night between Senator J.D. Vance, representing Donald Trump, and Governor Tim Walz, representing America. There were, at the times, now mind you, I watched only the highlights because I couldn't, business I had to go through. But from what I saw from the highlights, it was a tie because J.D. Vance kept lying his ass off almost the entire debate, and Tim Walz looked very, very stunned and somewhat shaky, but he's debated before, but nothing at the level of this, where the fate of the entire country is at stake from a madman like Donald Trump. But there are a couple of instances that defined both people, Vance and Walz, for the entire night. Of course, J.D. Vance lying his ass off about Donald Trump, not to mention continuing his lies about Springfield, Ohio, not to mention continuing his lie about how Donald Trump is the one person that could save the country. But one of the things that really got me to Walz's side is, of course, abortion. Now take a look at this 2-minute clip real quick, and you'll see what I mean.
Said in the last debate that you believe abortion, quote, in the 9th month is absolutely fine. Yes or no? Is that what you support? I'll give you 2 minutes.
That's not what the bill says, but look, this issue is what's on everyone's mind. Donald Trump put this all into motion. He brags about how great it was that he put the judges in and overturned Roe versus Wade, 52 years of personal autonomy. And then he tells us, oh, we send it to the states. It's a beautiful thing. Amanda Zaworski would disagree with you on it's a beautiful thing. A young bride in Texas waiting for their child at 18 weeks. She has a complication, a tear in the membrane. She needs to go in. The medical care at that point needs to be decided by the doctor. And that would have been an abortion. But in Texas, that would have put them in legal jeopardy. She went home, got sepsis, nearly dies, and now she may have difficulty having children. Or in Kentucky, Hadley Duvall, a 12-year-old child raped and impregnated by her stepfather. Those are horrific. Now, when God asked about that, Senator Vance said 2 wrongs don't make a right. There is no right in this. So in Minnesota, what we did was restore Roe versus Wade. We made sure that we put women in charge of their health care. But look, this is not where, if you don't know Amanda or a Hadley, you soon will. Their Project 2025 is going to have a registry of pregnancies. It's going to make it more difficult, if not impossible, to get contraception and limit access, if not eliminate access to infertility treatments. For so many of you out there listening, me included, infertility treatments are why I have a child. That's nobody else's business, but those things are being proposed. And the catch-all on this is, well, the states will decide what's right for Texas might not be right for Washington. That's not how this works. This is basic human right. We have seen maternal mortality skyrocket in Texas, outpacing many other countries in the world. This is about health care. In Minnesota, we are ranked first in health care for a reason. We trust women, we trust doctors.
Now, any fair-minded person, regardless of your beliefs when it comes to abortion, now I've made my beliefs about abortion very clear many times on many of my videos here. So I'm not going to get into all that. If you want to look it up, go ahead. But any fair-minded person would look at those 2 instances that Governor Walz actually brought up. A woman who's pregnant, whose life was in danger, that the law says we can't give you an abortion because the doctors, may actually be prosecuted for it. There's a chance she may never have children ever again. And a child who was raped by her stepfather. I mean, you can't look at those two situations and say wholeheartedly that you would make them suffer, that you would let a woman die, that you would actually put a 10-year-old kid through something like that, a child through something like that. It's obvious that J.D. Vance and Donald Trump do, but they do for different reasons. Now, I like to think that J.D. Vance has some kind of moral code, but considering the fact that he supports Donald Trump, that moral code could possibly be eroded. But one of the things that really got me is that we heard, obviously, before the before the debate started, is that CBS, the moderators of this debate, were not going to fact check each other. There was just one moment in this debate while talking about the Springfield situation, Springfield, Ohio, that J.D. Vance got fact-checked by the moderators, and his response was typically Republican.
Thank you, Governor. And just to clarify for our viewers, Springfield, Ohio does have a large number of Haitian migrants who have legal status, temporary protected status.
Well, Margaret, but
thank you, Senator. We have so much to get to.
Margaret, I think it's important
We're
because
going to turn out of the economy. Thank
Margaret,
you.
the rules were that you guys weren't going to fact check, and since you're fact checking me, I think it's important to say what's actually going on. So there's an application called the CBP One app, where you can go on as an illegal migrant, apply for asylum or apply for parole, and be granted legal status at the wave of a Kamala Harris open border wand.
He didn't respond by saying, no, you're wrong, this is wrong, or anything else like that. He didn't try to take it calmly. He just got angry that he was called out on this bullshit, and that was the case. He was called out on bullshit, and he couldn't take the facts. He knows that he and Donald Trump lied about what's going on in Springfield. He knows that he and Donald Trump lied about the situation down there. And he couldn't take the fact that he was called out on his lie. That should tell you everything about what's going on in the Republican Party now. On my TikTok, I posted a video about Donald Trump bold-faced lying about the situation, the hurricane down south that hit Florida, Georgia, Alabama, and Tennessee, North Carolina as well. The Republican Party can't be, Republican Party and the MAGA and Donald Trump can't help but be called out on their lies. Now, mind you, CBS said they weren't going to fact check, but I applaud CBS for saying that that's not true and correcting them on their lie. The fact is this: Donald Trump lied, J.D. Vance lied, and they were called out on it. But I think the coup de grace that got Governor Walz the victory in this debate, a shaky victory, mind you, but the real victory was when J.D. Vance was called out on the 2020 election, that Donald Trump lost. And from since on, for the last few weeks, has been admitting, I should say, that Donald Trump lost by a whisker, whatever the hell that means.
We are miles apart on. This was a threat to our democracy in a way that we had not seen. And it manifested itself because of Donald Trump's inability to say. He is still saying he didn't lose the election. I would just ask that. Did he lose the 2020 election?
Tim, I'm focused on the future. Did Kamala Harris censor Americans from speaking their mind in the wake of the 2020 COVID situation?
That is a damning non-answer.
It's a damning non-answer for you to not talk about censorship.
Censorship? Well, first off, you got angry because you couldn't answer the question about the lie that Donald Trump kept feeding to the American public over and over again since he lost the election in 2020, a lie that led to the attack on January 6, 2021. where he told his people to fight like hell, and they obliged. But you failing to answer that particular question, Vance, shows what kind of a coward you are, what kind of menace to our constitutional republic you've become, along with Donald Trump. And here's the question that I think a lot of people need to ask. If you and Donald Trump lose this election, will you accept the results? And by that answer you gave to Tim Walz, that denial, you've shown me that you will plan another January 6th style attack. But I think hands down, Tim Walz was shaky, but he still won the debate. Not because I'm supporting Tim Walz or Kamala Harris for president and vice president, but because, unlike J.D. Vance, Tim Walz gave some very distinctive answers to the questions that a lot of Americans are struggling with when it comes to the economy, when it comes to climate change, when it comes to politics, when it comes to abortion. J.D. Vance couldn't give any real answers. He was just slicking his way in and out of everything like he's done his entire career, like he's done since he snaked his way out of his combat assignment in the Middle East when he was a Marine. What was it that you said, Vance? That you were lucky not to see combat? Anyway, the fact is this. We can't get complacent anymore. We are less than 1 month away from the election, an election that will decide where our country is going to go, towards freedom or towards fascism. Donald Trump wants fascism. J.D. Vance wants fascism. We, Kamala Harris, Tim Walz, and we, the real Americans in this country, want freedom. Vote accordingly. Fight with our votes. CTP, know the truth. God bless. Peace to the left, justice to the right.